Hey everybody, once again, it's your guy Craig Green, CG here with another edition of Falcons Daily. We're here to break down the 2025 Falcons schedule in its entirety. It was released last night at 8 o'clock sharp. I'm sure a lot of you saw the video they released, the Mario Kart parody. Again, plenty of Easter eggs, plenty of trolling in there. Bill Belichick thrown in there. Bill's Mafia, of course. And, the Falcons had to get their shots in on the Saints. They had to do that. But again, pretty well put together video, I thought. I watched it a couple of times. I'm still catching up to all the Easter eggs and all the little hidden anecdotes in the video. But again, a great job by the Falcons social media and content creation team, their marketing, the communications. Fantastic job by all involved. But let's go ahead and break down the Falcons schedule game by game. We'll just start with the preseason. Just a quick mention of the preseason games. First week, week one of the preseason, August 8th. You got the Falcons hosting the Detroit Lions at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's a Friday night, August 8th. So for all of you with the Chick-fil-A jokes, you'll be able to get in the building and get yourself some chicken nuggies. Also here, their next game, second game at home, back-to-back. The very next Friday night, August 15th, they'll be taking on the Tennessee Titans at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's a 7 o'clock kick as well. And then the very next Friday night after that, they will travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. 8 o'clock game at AT&T Stadium. For all of you in the Atlanta area, all of you can watch every single one of those games on your local Fox affiliate in the Atlanta area. Everybody else, you'll need to use NFL Game Pass or NFL Plus, I'm sorry, and to be able to watch the preseason games if you want to see them in its entirety. But let's get to the regular season, the meat and potatoes of what we're here for today, and we'll try to go through everything fairly quickly. We won't keep it here forever and ever tonight because, again, we got to break down 18 weeks of football, 17 games in all. When's the bye week? We'll start with some of the stuff here. First of all, the bye week, not a friendly bye week for the Falcons. It's week 5. The Falcons go on the bye in week 5, but they have a very interesting first month of the season. So let's look at September 1st. We're going to start at home. Just like I said, I would love to start at home. I wanted to start against the Saints at home. Didn't get that, but we are starting at home against a division rival. Week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's a Sunday 1 o'clock kickoff. Again, remember the Falcons swept Tampa Bay last season, so the Falcons would be looking to get off not only to a 1-0 start, just on the record overall, but also 1-0 in the NFC South and 1-0 in the conference. That would be a good look for them. And we brought this up. We brought up week 2. Week two's game. We brought this up yesterday. Did we think it was a revenge game for the Falcons? And it kind of is in a way. The Falcons in week 2 will travel to US Bank Stadium to take on the Minnesota Vikings, and that game is on Sunday Night Football. It's an 8:20 kickoff Sunday night, September 14th. Again, remember the Falcons went to Minnesota and lost last season with Kirk Cousins at the helm. That game last year, again, was a regular 1 o'clock kick, but the Falcons went there to Minnesota, lost 42-21 on the road to the Vikings. And again, I think the Falcons have a better shot this year at taking down Minnesota, whether it's J.J. McCarthy or whoever they have starting at quarterback, especially with Michael Penix in the second season in the system with Zach Robinson. Plus, again, the additions on defense, the good draft the Falcons had. So, we'll see what happens once we get to week 2. But again, I think the Falcons have a pretty good shot here to go 2-0 to start the season, but we'll see. All right, week 3 for the Atlanta Falcons. They are going to be on the road once again. This time they will take on their division rival, the Carolina Panthers. That's a Sunday 1 o'clock kick as well at Bank of America Stadium. Falcons split the season series with the Panthers last year. Remember, the Falcons lost in overtime to Carolina week 17 at home. A game that ultimately ended up not mattering in terms of the division race because right before overtime kicked off, the Saints lost at Tampa Bay, literally right before overtime started. So The Falcons were eliminated before the coin was even flipped at midfield to start the extra period. But of course, the Falcons with a good chance here to go 3-0, not only in the division, not only in the conference and overall, but a good chance to go 2-0 in the division as well. I mean, it is Bryce Young's second year in their system in Carolina, and also he'll have his new wide receiver that he'll want to turn out there, Ted McMillan, their first round draft pick. So we'll see. But again, Falcons Panthers 1 o'clock. Week 3 in Atlanta. Week 4, we have another home game. It's our third home game of the month of September, and really the third home game of the month. And that's going to be another game on my mind from last year. We asked about this one too. Is this going to be a revenge game? Who knows? The Washington Commanders are coming to Atlanta Week 4, Sunday 1 o'clock. Again, remember the Falcons lost in overtime to the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Remember the Penix to Kyle Pitts touchdown on 4th down to send the game into the extra period. The Falcons lose the coin toss, and the defense can't get off the field, and Washington ends up winning in overtime. That puts the Falcons behind the 8 ball for Week 18 at home against Carolina, a game they could not afford to lose at that point. So, again, it would be good to get the Falcons would love to get that game back, and this, I think, so far on the season would be the toughest test for Atlanta. It would be Week 4 in this first month of play because, again, the Vikings aren't as strong as they were. Tampa Bay, them very well. And, again, Carolina, honestly, you got to take them seriously, but they don't really scare you. So I think Washington with Jaden Daniels and now with Deebo Samuel in the fold for the Commanders, that's a whole new dynamic and something that the defense will have to compensate for. But Week 5, this one is a Monday Night Football game at home. Once again, the Falcons' 4th home game out of 5 so far, and their 3rd home game out of 5. They will be playing against the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. This one is a 7:15 kickoff, part of a doubleheader on Monday Night Football that night. But the Falcons will be game 1 of that doubleheader, and they'll get their chance to take on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And then Week 7, another primetime game for the Falcons, another one. So this is the 3rd primetime game for them, and it's all in the first month and a half as they will take on the San Francisco 49ers at Levi's Stadium. This is going to be on Sunday Night Football on NBC. Again, Sunday night, October 19th, 8:20. Falcons will take on the 49ers that night. And again, remember the Falcons, old rivals with the 49ers from the old NFC West. They've played each other several times over the past few seasons. And the 49ers and Falcons, it's always going to be always a pretty good game. But that's actually right after their bye week, because remember, the Falcons will go on the bye Week 5, and then they will come out and take on the 49ers that night. But again, let's take a look at the history of the Falcons and 49ers and where they sit. Their last meeting between these two teams, the Falcons won 28-14. That was back almost 3 years ago on October 18th. Again, last season, the Falcons offense was 6th in total offense, 49ers 4th. Falcons defense, a lot to be desired, 23rd total defense. And the 49ers had the 8th overall total defense. So, again, a hefty challenge for the Falcons to take on the San Francisco 49ers. That's coming up Week 7 in San Francisco. And then after that, Week 8. Week 8, let's not jump ahead here. Week 8, we're back at home. It's a Sunday 1 o'clock kick against the Miami Dolphins. And, their head coach, Mike McDaniel, and Tua Tagovailoa. We'll see those guys week 9 in the A. You remember last year we played them in the preseason. The Dolphins won that game. It was the same game with Braylon Trice and DeMarco Hellams. We lost them for the season. So, not a favorable memory. But again, Week 8, the Falcons and Dolphins will crank it up here at the Bend. So Week 9, the Falcons will travel to New England, take on the Patriots. I don't look at this as any sort of revenge whatsoever. Super Bowl 51 was a million years ago at this point. So I think it's going to be more of just, whoever they're trotting out at quarterback against New England. But, the last game between the Falcons and Patriots, that game went to the Patriots by the score of 25-0. Falcons were in the game early on. Their defense was holding things tight, but again, Falcons offense could not put any points on the board. Their quarterback play back then was pretty atrocious. They just didn't get the best quarterback play or really running game as well either from Matt Ryan in the offense that day. Just an abomination that day for them. But again, Falcons against the Patriots coming up. That is going to be, again, week 9, and that's going to be at Gillette Stadium. It's a Sunday 1 o'clock kick. That game will be on CBS. After that, Falcons will take on in week 10. We'll take a look at the schedule here from weeks 10 through 18 now. The second half of the season, after you've had your bye week in week 5, you've played a good amount of division opponents, then you mixed in some AFC teams. Let's take a look at that second half of the Falcons schedule. And what do we notice here in the second half of the schedule? You've got all conference games with the exception of the Jets that you squeeze in there at the end of November. But you've got 3 division games right there. You got actually 4 division games, excuse me. You will play. Sorry, I can't count, guys. 1, 2, 3. It is 4 division games. You'll play the Saints twice on the second half of the season. But again, starting here week 10, remember, that game is the Berlin game. So the Falcons will be on Sunday, 9:30 in the morning in Berlin against the Colts. That's a 9:30 kickoff on NFL Network. Remember, the Falcons beat the Colts the last time around. Not only did they beat the Colts their last matchup in the United States, but they also beat the Colts in their last matchup overseas as well. The Falcons beating Peyton Manning and the Colts in the preseason in Tokyo back in 2005, back during the Michael Vick era. But again, so we'll see what happens this time around. Anthony Richardson against Michael Penix, two young upcoming quarterbacks. And again, they still got Jonathan Taylor over there with the Colts. They got some weapons over there. So again, just got to be careful with what they want to do. But it's going to be interesting. So make sure you guys get up early, get your breakfast rolling, and be in front of your TV by 9:25. That's an assignment from CG. Anyway, let's move on to week 12 here. Week 11 against the Carolina Panthers. This game's going to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 1 o'clock kickoff for the Falcons and Panthers. Again, remember, the Falcons lost the season finale in Atlanta to the Panthers last year, a game in which the Falcons were, again, eliminated from playoff contention, and the division title was given to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a result of their victory over the Saints. But again, Panthers, Falcons still lead the season, the all-time series against them. Split 2 games last year. Bryce Young had the game of his life last year against the Falcons in Atlanta. Can't let him do that again. And I don't think that's going to happen this time around. I still don't really believe that they are building anything sustainable in Carolina right now. I thought Bryce Young was a talented quarterback. I thought he was the wrong fit for that team at that time, and I still believe that. So I do believe the Falcons will win that game, even with things standing the way they are. Speaking of the games, I think the Falcons will win week 12. This is going to be at New Orleans. It's a 4:25 kickoff this time around on Fox. So this will most likely be their nationally televised 4:25 game. Again, the Falcons Saints kicking off there. It's a 3:25 kick in New Orleans, of course. But, with the retirement of Derek Carr, and it looks like the rise of maybe Jake Haener, and who knows, will Aaron Rodgers decide he wants to show up and be a Saint by then? We'll find out. But again, revenge on the mind for the Falcons. They lost in New Orleans last year, 20-17, and I think again, have a better chance to beat the Saints now without a Derek Carr in the fold than they would have if he was still there. And we're looking at two straight road games after that one, because the Falcons will travel to MetLife Stadium and they will take on the New York Jets. That is their last AFC East opponent for the season. And the Falcons this year, they will take on the AFC East and the NFC West. And they will knock out the AFC East here in Week 13. Falcons and Jets will square off on Week 13 in at MetLife Stadium. That is also a 1 o'clock kickoff there for the Falcons and the Jets. And they'll have Justin Fields as their quarterback again, so they'll have a whole different look of how things look for them as well. Last meeting between the Falcons and Jets, the Falcons came away with a 13-8 win. That was back in December of 2023. Also, if I'm sure you remember, the Falcons beat the Jets in London back in 2021. That was the only touchdown of the season for Kyle Pitts, and his first touchdown in the NFL came overseas at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. All right, so let's take a look now. We'll go up here to Week 14. And what do we have in Week 14, guys? It is a matchup with the Seattle Seahawks. That is a team that the Falcons have seen quite a bit over the last several years. This is a 1 o'clock kick at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The last time the Falcons played the Seahawks, which was last October, Seahawks had their way with the Falcons. That was a 34-14 win. Now they've taken a little bit of different shape as well, as they'll have Sam Darnold as their quarterback over there. Geno Smith no longer a Seahawk, so it's going to be a whole different dynamic over there. Hard to it's going to be a tough game to predict, but the Falcons, you would think they'd have the edge at home, but Week 14 is a long ways away. We're talking all the way December 7th, and we'll see what the Falcons look like by then, and the Seahawks as well. Week 15, guys, is another matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This time around, we're going to see them on Thursday Night Football, and this game is at Tampa. So again, Falcons getting a little bit of a break here in terms of a road game in December. This road game is going to be in Florida. So I mean, schedule makers, you didn't do the Falcons a solid with a Week 5 bye, but you did them a solid with putting them in Tampa in December. You couldn't ask for a better trip there. Again, remember, the Falcons swept the Buccaneers last year and still lost the division by one game. So Falcons would look to try to sweep the Bucks there. If they can do so, then again, they'll put themselves in the driver's seat to win the South again. Now, I don't think that Carolina or New Orleans is ready to contend just yet. Week 16, they're going to make the trip out to State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. I have never been there, but it's one of my favorite stadiums. Just the ambiance and the fact that the grass slides out from underneath the stadium on a tray, which is pretty dope. So again, it's a domed stadium with natural grass. You can't beat that. But again, the Arizona Cardinals and the Falcons square off in Arizona. It is a 4:05 kickoff. So yep, you'll have to be in Atlanta or Arizona to see this bad boy. You'll remember 2 years ago, back in 2023, Falcons lost a heartbreaker to the Arizona Cardinals. Desmond Ridder took the Falcons down the field to take the game, to take the go-ahead touchdown, to take the lead. Defense gave it up to Kyler Murray and the offense. On the ensuing drive, they let the tight end McBride just kind of roll all over them. Field goal kicked at the end, and there you go. Falcons lose 25-23 on the road to Arizona. So they'll make their second trip out there in 3 years, and let's see if the Falcons can get things together and get a dub this time around against the Arizona Cardinals. Week 17, guys. Let's take a look at Week 17 for the Atlanta Falcons. And in Week 17, they'll be taking on the LA Rams, and this is a second appearance on Monday Night Football for the Falcons. They will be at home against the Rams on Monday night. That game will be an 8:15 kick on ESPN, of course. And again, last matchup between the Falcons and Rams, a tight game, 31-27 back in 2022. That was a game where the Falcons scored once on defense, once on special teams, and the Rams eked away a victory that day. But We'll see what they look like when we get there. Again, a week. That's a long flight for the Rams to come in. Again, at least the Falcons get that game at home. So they'll be the favorite most likely. Just depends on where everybody's at health wise. Rams, another old NFC West rival that the Falcons will take on this season. And then week 18, we get the Saints at home, week 18. That is our last game. It is a TBD in terms of the date and the time. It could be a Saturday game. It could be a Sunday game. It could be on prime time. It just depends. The NFL wants to have the ability to flex the most important games on the schedule in the prime spots. So it could be 1 o'clock, could be 4:25, could be Sunday Night Football. Who knows? But again, if the Falcons handle their business, then this game ultimately won't matter at the end. But again, it's always good to beat the Saints. So I think, when I look at, let's look at we're looking at the primetime games for the Falcons. We talked about it the other day. I thought they'd have 3 primetime games. The Falcons have 5 primetime games, y'all, 5 of them. They're in primetime. I mean, again, they're in primetime in week 2. And then they're back in primetime again in week 6 after the bye. So we'll count them up. First one against the Vikings, Sunday Night Football, week 2 at the Vikings. And then home for Buffalo, week 6 on Monday Night Football. Week 7 against the 49ers at the 49ers on Sunday night. Then again, they're back in primetime once again against Tampa Bay, week 15 in Tampa on Thursday night. And then on Monday Night Football, one more time at home against the Rams at the Benz. So, again, the Falcons got 5 primetime games, guys. I'd say it's a pretty good look for them. 3 of them are on the road right now. 2 of them are at home. And again, a potential for a 6th one with the Saints game because of the fact that if that game is important for either team, or most likely both, it will either be the 4:25 or it will be the 8:15 matchup on Sunday night. So we will see how that goes. But when I look at this schedule, guys, we'll just go over it game by game real quick, and we'll take a look at what we think, what I think the record's going to be. I mean, again, let's go week 1 at home against Tampa. I'll give the Falcons a win there. Really, I'm looking at the first 3 games, and I'm going to say the Falcons win the first 3. So I've got the Falcons going 3-0 to start the season, to win the first game, to beat Minnesota. To beat Tampa, to beat Minnesota, and then also to beat Carolina at home as well. So I think they'll get 3 right now to start off with. When you go, I think Washington will ultimately be a loss. Then the Falcons have the bye week. I'll say Buffalo gets them as well. I think Buffalo is going to beat the Falcons that week at home on Monday Night Football. Week 7 at San Francisco, I think the Falcons actually will get that game in somewhat of an upset. Week 8 at home against the Dolphins, so we'll give the Falcons that one as well. Let's take a look in week 9 against the Patriots. Yes, they're still pretty weak right now. Against the Colts in Berlin, we'll give the Falcons that game. Against Carolina, we'll give the Falcons that one as well. I think they beat New Orleans in week 12 as well. At the Jets, we'll give the Jets that game. I think the Falcons will not only lose that game to the Jets, but I think they'll lose the game to the Seahawks the next week as well. And then week 15 at Tampa. Matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and, this is going to be the sour part of the season right here, guys. Jets, Seahawks, Tampa Bay. I think there's a 3-game losing streak in there, unfortunately. Just for prediction standards now. We'll go back over this again in a couple months and give you the official. But right now, just looking at the schedule, I see another win against Arizona, and then we can also give the Falcons to win against New Orleans in week 18 as well. So right now, I'm looking at about 11 wins for the Falcons right now. I think they'll beat Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Carolina, San Francisco, Miami, New England, Indianapolis. They'll beat Carolina again, and New Orleans. I think they'll sweep Carolina and New Orleans. I think they'll beat Arizona. I think we're looking at 11 wins just to start off with right now. But again, tell me how many wins you guys think we'll get in the comments, and we'll go back over this again in August and give you official predictions once the roster takes a better shape. Once we get out of the preseason, we'll go over it again game by game a little bit more closely then. But again, that's the early schedule breakdown for you guys. That's who I think the Falcons will will take on and defeat and lose to as well. I think the Falcons again will go right now as things currently stand 11-7, 11-6 on the season. 11 wins should be enough to not only get into the playoffs but potentially win the NFC South the way things have been shaking out lately. But I think they'll split with Tampa Bay and sweep the other two division rivals. So let me know what you guys think. And once again, thanks for tuning in. You can follow me on social media, Craig G Sports, CRAIG, the letter G and the word sports. Guys, again, thanks for getting us very, very close to 350 subscribers. We are just a couple more away from hitting that milestone in just a short amount of time. So thank you once again. And make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed yet to make sure that you do not miss out on any of the Falcons content we're going to bring to you. Again, thanks so much for tuning in. We will check with you guys again tomorrow with some more Falcons Daily.